Hello and shalom, friends. This is Mayim Vega, your naturopathic herbalist and holistic life coach. And I wrote a blog the other day entitled, How Can You Believe Something You Don't Yet Believe? Say it again. How can you believe something you don't yet believe? And I wanted to go over this blog and my thoughts about it and just dig deeper into it. This is primarily for my students and my coaching clients. I have students in holistic health and healing. I have some that are just in a life coaching student, and also some students that are learning business from me. Okay, so I think this is relevant to all of those three types of students that I have. So in my pursuit of personal growth and business excellence, one of the greatest challenges that I've encountered is altering my mindset and adopting new beliefs that serve me better. This is very, very important. Now, when I talk about beliefs, that's kind of a modern way to say it. A religious way to say it, I would say, is faith. You know, um, how I can have faith. And that's what faith really is. They are beliefs that will serve you for the good, for the better. Okay, that's one definition of it, anyways. Now, especially in the realms of business leadership, entrepreneurship, or self-improvement, I've found that my beliefs can significantly impact my actions and outcomes. So here's a breakdown of how I've learned to shift my mindset and embrace new, empowering thoughts. First of all, we have to recognize our current beliefs. So awareness is key to this process. It's crucial to become very acutely aware of what we currently believe, understanding our existing mindset, be it filled with self-doubt, fear, or limitations. This is the first step toward change, towards becoming the person that you want to become, achieving your goals, whether it's to, have a better marriage, become a better parent, be more successful in business, become a holistic healer, become a self-empowered healer to heal yourself. It doesn't matter what it is. There are going to be some thoughts, some doubts that you have inside yourself. And it's usually involves self-doubt and fear and limitations. Okay. We have to recognize that first. We always have to recognize things before we can change them. And then we have to identify what our limiting beliefs are. How is it that they are limiting us, those specific beliefs? We often hold on to beliefs that limit our potential, and these can range from things that are deeply ingrained from childhood that dictate our self-worth and also our capabilities. I learned that, growing up, I didn't really realize how much of an impact my parents had on me. But when I became a parent myself, I realized, our children really need our words, our affirmations. And so do we. We also need words and affirmations. And when we can't get those words and affirmations from the outside, we can give it to ourselves. We can talk to ourselves. Our thoughts are not always our own. They're usually not our own. Our thoughts are collections of words that we have picked up oftentimes through childhood, through experiences with other people, all sorts of people, not just people, but also media, news, things that may not have been directly spoken to us, but we latched onto them and we thought that they were true. And these are what comprise our thoughts. So our thoughts are not ourselves. Sometimes we think that our thoughts are ourselves. That's our own thoughts, but really they're not. And what we can make them ours if we accept them and we believe in them and we act on them, But we can also talk back to our thoughts. We can talk back to our quote unquote selves, and we can reject thoughts, and we can replace thoughts, and we can challenge thoughts, and we can argue with our thoughts. And when we do that, we're actually arguing with our experiences, with our programming that the world has tried to program us with. And that's a good thing. That's a very healthy thing to do. And so we have to practice new thoughts. Okay. And once you're aware of your current beliefs, you can be more intentional about doing this. We can consciously practice new thoughts. And we can choose thoughts that are aligned with outcomes that we desire and reflect the person that we want to be. And it's really important to repeat and reinforce these new thoughts, these new empowering thoughts, these thoughts of faith and goodness and healing and success and change and transformation, whatever we want to become. It's like building a muscle through exercise. Reinforcing new thoughts requires regular practice. We have to repeat our new beliefs daily. You can do that through prayer. I do that through prayer, affirmations. You can write about it, journal, blog about it, talk about it. I talk about it to my family, my friends, my YouTube audience. I email about it. I email people about it in my newsletters. Whatever you want to believe, whatever you want to become, put it out there in the world. Speak them, write them, share them, meditate on them, pray about them. So here are 10 new thoughts that I would like to offer to you. Okay. Number one, you are 100% lovable. And your lovability is infinite, and it is not dependent on your actions or other people's perceptions. It is rooted in your inherent worth. How do we know that? Because as a mother, we have no reason to love our children. The only reason is that they are our children. They're born to us, and we love them without even us knowing much about them, their personality, or the things that they're going to accomplish. We love them. So loving is not necessarily about, are you lovable or not? It's more about, are you willing to receive love, and are you willing to love others? And everyone can receive love, and everyone can love others. And because of that, you are also lovable. You are also worthy of love. You just have to receive love, and you have to love others. Now, if you don't have, people in your life that are giving you love, or that you feel are giving you love, then it might be a challenge to receive love. So I would challenge you to receive divine love, and to think of everything in this world as put in place for you, because it is. You were made in the divine image of the Creator, and so He loves you. He loves you, and everything in this world was created for you. Yes, it might have been created for other people too, but it was created for you as well, because you have that divine breath that was breathed into you, that divine soul that was breathed into you. And for this alone, you are worthy of love. And if you, that's the first step, I believe. And then the next step, if you are feeling unlovable and you don't feel like you have people around you that love you, well, the next step is to love someone, is to love others. You can do that very simply in your everyday life, in your day-to-day life. The people around you, if you don't live with anyone, you can love your neighbors. If if you don't have neighbors, what about your workplace, right? If you don't work, you can get on social media. You can find someone to love. I've found many friends through social media, with all the negativity that they say about, social media. There's also a lot of positivity that social media has brought, connections, and it can be a cause of loneliness and despair, It can also be a source of empowerment and friendship and making new connections. It all depends on how you use it. Don't use it to compare yourself to others. Use it to seek to love others, find connections, find relationships, etc. Now, that's the first thought. Okay, you are 100% lovable. Second thought is a great life is defined by goals, not achievements. And the reason why this is important is because when you haven't yet achieved your goals, and you focus on only your achievements, you haven't achieved anything, that can become very depressing, right? So when it comes to achievements, only look at achievements that are daily, okay? What can you achieve daily? And when you achieve that daily goal, rejoice, be happy, celebrate, you've finished a lesson, you have done your morning routine, whatever it is that you want to do. You have spent time in devotion. You've prayed. You've spent time on a personal development. Something like that. That's an achievement. Something that you can be happy about. I do. And when you do these things, when you look at these small goals and these small achievements, if you're a business person, you can rejoice that you've created content, that you have build all your clients, that you have sent out the communications, the emails, that made the phone calls that you need to. These are good goals to be happy about. But I also believe in setting impossible goals or visionary goals, which maybe you'll achieve in your lifetime, maybe you won't, but they are worthy goals. They're visions that are lofty and that are worthwhile to pursue. And when you have these lofty goals, it doesn't matter if you completely achieve them. And I believe in setting impossible goals so that maybe you can never achieve them, but when you set impossible goals, visionary goals, you will accomplish things that you could never accomplish if you were only setting what you think is an achievable goal. Dare to dream big, dare to set impossible goals and cast lofty visions, because by doing these things, you will achieve greater things than when you only set out to achieve small things. Okay. And this is how I run my life and my business. This is how I raise my children. I have them think big, and I tell them to not just, look to accomplish a task, but to do it as excellently as possible. Okay. And to, achieve their goals and try to figure out what do they think they were meant to do, not just what they think they can do. Because a lot of times if we tap into, sort of a higher calling for our lives, then it removes our self-imposed limits and boundaries, whether they be self-imposed or they be boundaries set by us through our life experiences, through our parents, through our teachers, through the media, etc. Tap into divine goals and purposes, etc. Okay. And then when you do these things, these will be things that excite you. Of course, you have these small measurable goals that I want to do today. Those are really good to celebrate when you accomplish them. But when you set these lofty goals, these goals are exciting. Like one of my goals is to build the greatest holistic health and healing school in the world. When I set that goal in the world, the biggest one in the world, that helps me to think bigger, right? And it's an exciting goal. Will I ever achieve it? It doesn't matter, because my pursuit of achieving it is what is fueling me. It's what keeps me going every single day and helps me to do more and more than ever before. And it helps me to think of ways where I can have a bigger impact on people. And so I'm helping, because of that, I'm able to reach people and help people heal all around the world. People that I've never met, probably will never meet. They contact me and they email me and they message me. And, sometimes I get on a call with them and they're like, they say things like, you healed me, you healed my daughter, you helped, you helped my loved one get off medications, you helped, all sorts of wonderful things that I would have never thought imaginable had I not set this goal, this seemingly lofty, impossible vision. Okay. So I haven't reached my impossible vision yet. I haven't actualized it, but because I'm pursuing it, I have been able to have a profound impact on people all around the world. And it's awesome. It's so worth it. This pursuit of setting impossible visions and goals can greatly enrich your life and the life of others. When you set out to do impossible things, usually it's going to involve helping people on a mass scale, on a greater scale than we can ever really imagine. Another thing that's the second, right? So the second is a great life is defined by goals, and I would say visionary goals, not achievements. Okay. And the third empowering thought that I like to offer you is that money is a blessing. Okay. Money is not a curse. Money is an awesome gift from God. And if we were farmers, we wouldn't think that when our crops grow, that's evil, right? No, we wouldn't think that. Well, that's what money is in our modern day and age. It's the fruit of our labor. So a lot of us, we need to shift our perspective on money and recognize that it is a resource that solves problems and can be used to improve your life and others. It is not evil. Obsession over money is evil. Okay. When you put money above everything else, that is evil. But money in and of itself is not evil. It is a gift. I heard one rabbi say that money is spiritual, because money really money, what's money? Money is not paper, right? That is just representative, right? Currency. Let's talk about currency. Currency that's what we call money, right? But it's also what we call electricity. Electricity is invisible, right? And electricity is something that powers and fuels things, gives things energy. It is energy. And so is money. Money is also energy. You can do many things with money. It is not evil. It is powerful. It can be very powerful, but it is not evil in and of itself. It's the way that we use money that is evil, right? Electricity can be used to harm, or it can be used to heal. It can be used to create. That's the same thing with money. Money is spiritual because it represents something that we do, right? We earn money by creating value in the world. And the value that we create in the world is based on the skills, the talents, and the effort, the work that God has enabled us to provide in this world. So when you think about money in this term, money is awesome. It is not a curse. It is not something evil. Money is a gift. Money is a blessing. Okay. The fourth thought, I think we're number 4, right, is that growth is comfortable. Okay. So when we, sometimes when we have to step out of our comfort zone, we think of it as, we're like, I have to do this, I have to do that. It's going to be hard, so we have to kind of change that. And in order to continue to grow, and I have to say, ooh, that burn, that pain, that feels good. That feels nice. It's a sign that I'm growing, instead of, complaining about it. It's always preferable to grow, even if sometimes it's a little bit painful, than to be stagnant. Because we're either growing or we are dying. Okay. That's how life functions. Everything's either growing or dying. It's never, there's really nothing really just staying as it is. There's stagnation is going to eventually lead to deterioration and death. So growth, even though it can be uncomfortable at times, it aligns with our natural desire to evolve and become better versions of ourselves. So, okay, maybe I shouldn't say growth is comfortable, but I should say growth is desirable. Growth can be very uncomfortable, but growth is desirable. And the pain that we may feel at times when we have to work extra hard, and maybe we face some unexpected injuries, no matter what they are, whether it be physical or maybe sometimes even emotional. It's necessary sometimes. Okay, sometimes we're hurt because of growth, but you know what? It doesn't matter. It is necessary, and it can be very empowering. Okay, growth is good, even though it hurts sometimes. Next, another empowering thought that I've seen in my life is that adults are free to be. Adults are autonomous beings and they can behave as they wish. This understanding frees us from the burden of trying to control people. And it also frees us from anger, right? It frees us from wasting our time worrying about why other people aren't this way, and why do they have to do that, and why do they have to act like this? Why can't they be more like this and that? It doesn't matter. Let everyone be free to be who they are. And I mean, God does that, right? God gives us a great amount of freedom. Sometimes I think, when I read the Bible, I'm like, oh man, I would have punished David for that. A lot worse. I wouldn't have continued to let him be the king because of these things that he did. But God didn't do that. God gave us freedom, and God gave us freedom to make mistakes, and God gave us freedom to continue on in our lives and in our positions, and as parents and as business people and as students. He lets us continue going, even though we make sometimes what we feel is the greatest mistake of our lives. He continues to let us be free, and he continues to let us have chances, even though we feel that we don't deserve it. We feel that other people don't deserve it. We are free, and so are they. Of course, if we really aren't free, then, we're going to go to jail or something, or, God takes our lives away from us. But until that point happens, we are absolutely free. And because we are granted that freedom, we should allow other people that freedom as well. And these thoughts will help us. These thoughts will help us to stop obsessing over things that we cannot change and focus on things that we can change, which is mostly based on ourselves, on us. We have the greatest power over ourselves. And when we change ourselves and we transform ourselves into who we want to become, that is actually the greatest force for influencing others to change for the better. Okay. So on the tail of that, the next empowering thought that I would like to offer, I think it's number, what is it, 6 now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, we're on number 6 now, is that our spouse's job is to be loved by us. Okay. That's a very empowering thought as well. There's a lot of thoughts that, come into my mind, whereas it's like, oh, I want my husband to, I wish he would do this. I wish he would do that. He should be doing this. He should be doing that. And, I can talk to my husband and I can request, that he do this, and, can you please do this, and do that. And I can tell him of my stresses, say, I'm stressed out about this. I'm stressed about that. And, I make requests of him, but, I try never to force him to do anything. And, when I want something, like sometimes when I worry about money or when I worry about this and that, I'm like, okay, what can I do? What can I do about my worries instead of putting it on him? That doesn't mean that he doesn't have responsibilities. That doesn't mean that he shouldn't be doing certain things in marriage, but I can't make him do those things, right? I cannot force him to do the things that I think that he should be doing. I can love him, right? And I can do what's within my power to solve my problems. And when I do that, and when I don't try to manipulate him and force him into doing the things that I want him to do, I can make my requests and I can say, I need you to do this. When I don't try to force people to be the way I think they should be, and of course, we're still talking about adults here. I definitely make my children do chores and, things like that. We're talking about adults, right? Only. When I focus on that, then my relationships are better. My relationship with my husband is better. And I think it also inspires him to do better and to be better when I don't try to force him, but instead I try to inspire him. Okay. So I think that's very healthy, a very healthy way to approach marriage, and also to approach problems, instead of saying, you need to do this, you need to do that. Like, no, they don't need to do anything, but just let them know how we feel. I feel this way, I feel that way, and I get hurt. And when you shift the focus from blaming them and putting the responsibility on them to do things, and when you shift the focus to, this is how I feel, then it enables them to open up, to be compassionate to you instead of putting them on the defensive, right? This is a very important thing I learned through marriage coaching. Okay, next, number 7, I think it is that we create our experiences. Our experiences are shaped by our reactions and our beliefs. And by assuming control over how we interpret and respond to life's events, we empower ourselves. So whenever something bad happens, we can think, okay, that felt bad. That caused an initial reaction of anger, maybe, or depression. But how can I use that experience and reframe it to be an opportunity for growth? And look at it as, okay, well, I experienced this bad thing. Now I know better next time. Now I know what not to do. Now I know who not to speak to. Now I know who not to go to, right? Now I know where not to go, where not to eat, what not to think, what not to trust. And so these are all just lessons in life that we can see as lessons for empowerment and growth instead of wallowing in depression or anger. We can create our experiences in our lives. We can frame them, every single experience that we've had in life, to be empowering ones. I had a lot of problems I felt with my father growing up. A lot of anger, but you know what? I've learned to appreciate all those times and learn to have compassion about him, and think, he was an orphan. I think about that. He was an orphan. He had a lot of issues in his life. He did the best he could to raise me. So despite all of the hurt and the pain that experienced at times with him, I can say, what about all the awesome things that he taught me through his life, through his life story, through the moments, I had good moments, and I can meditate on that. And by doing that, I not only empower myself, but I honor him as my father, and I have an empowering story about him that I can pass on to my children and grandchildren instead of wallowing on, negative experiences that I may have had with him at times. Sometimes it takes time to transform our negative experiences into positive ones. And sometimes it takes time away from people in order to reframe our memories about them into positive ones. So if it requires that, then so be it. But we can make that happen. We can make it happen. And it's an incredible way to live an empowered life and also to heal. In my marriage as well, we went through a lot of hard times, a lot of painful times in our marriage. And, I learned through life coaching to reframe the hurt and the pain and to see them as just part of our story that helped us to grow closer to each other and to be more empowered to even help others through difficult marriages because we ourselves had a difficult marriage. The greater the challenges, the more strength and the more resiliency is built through them. Okay, so and also same thing with my business, the greatest entrepreneurs, the greatest business people are those who have faced a lot of challenges in their business and have overcome them. Okay. That's there's no other way to grow through business. If you have a successful business, that means you have gone through immense challenges. Okay. Next, number 8 is that nothing is too good to be true. Think that way. Challenge the notion that you can't have what you dream of. Allow yourself to envision and work towards a life that feels almost too good to be true. When I think about that, I also think about birthing. I think about how can I have a birth that's almost too good to be true? A birth, since I'm a holistic healer. Part of that is also about being an empowered birther. I'm not here, but I read books, as I was learning about natural healing, where they were like, birth can even be orgasmic. I was like, wow. Now there's another kind of impossible goal. Like I feel like it's an impossible goal. I don't know. Some women say that it can be orgasmic. I'm like, okay, whatever. It doesn't matter. As long as my birth is empowered, I don't need it to be orgasmic. But learning from people who say that it can be orgasmic, that was very empowering to me. And to me, that helped me have a very smooth and empowered birth. And, when people who have witnessed my birth, been there, like friends, or, my husband or my children, they can testify like, she doesn't scream when she's in birth. She's calm. The most I do is I just I breathe, or I go, just that's the most that I'll say. Once I even gave birth, and it was so smooth, it was so empowered that I said, oh, I think the baby came out already. Can you check? And I remember I don't remember if it was my midwife or my friend saying, I don't think that you gave birth if you don't even know that, if you can't even really feel it. I'm like, I don't know, and it was surely my baby was born. She was right there. And it was so, I'm not going to say it was, it was, I want to say pain-free. I want to say pain-free because it was almost like nothing, giving birth to her was almost like nothing. It was labor, it was work, but it wasn't, this particular birth, I wouldn't call it painful. It was so smooth. She just came out gently in the water. And then I picked her up and I was like, oh, wow, she's born. What a surprise, And so, if you believe in, if you have hope, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. They say that, right? Hope for the best. What if it could be awesome? What if your wildest dreams could come true? And when you think that way, when you think it's possible, then you will work towards that. You will work towards that. You will I want to say trick your mind, but you will program your own mind to be that empowered so that you can achieve those kinds of results in your life. Doesn't matter whether it's your marriage, your birth, your business. It's all possible. It's all possible. I live in that space. Okay, next, number 9 is the future is always better. It's going to get better. Even if times are worse, your future can be better. The economy, it seems like it's getting worse right now, but I have very high hopes for the future, my future, my family's future. I maintain an optimistic view of the future, believing that it will be better than the past. And I've had some really high times in my past, but I believe the future is going to be better, and I'm working my way to create that vision for myself and for my family, for my world, for everyone, which keeps my hope and enthusiasm alive. So that I'm Jewish, and I'm Breslov, and so Breslov is very Rabbi Nachman. He's the main figure in Breslov, and my one of my closest rabbis is Breslov. It's all about being positive, being hopeful for the future, being enthusiastic, and being filled with joy and faith. Faith, emunah, that's what we call it in Judaism, emunah, faith. In the business world, in the secular world, we call it strong beliefs, positive thoughts, things like that. Same thing. I believe it's almost the same thing. Okay. And number 10, the worst that can happen is a feeling. Understand that you can handle any emotion. Understanding that you can handle any emotion provides the courage to face fears and take bold steps forward. A lot of times when we think that something is bad or something is devastating, or that something is this is the worst thing that's ever happened to us, that's because that's how we feel, right? That's how we feel. But when we believe that we can handle any feeling, any emotion, and that we can challenge these emotions, and we can feel these emotions and then let them pass and say, hey, look, there's a time for sorrow. There's a time for grieving. There's a time for depression. There's a time for anger. And then there's a time to let all of that pass. And there's a time to change our thoughts so that we're no longer thinking things that are depressive or things that make us angry. We can choose to, it's good, very good to experience our feelings. It's not good to suppress our feelings. I believe that we need to express them. So opportunities to cry, I think, are really, really good, really, really important. Crying is healing, it's releasing. And you can turn anger into tears. And when you do that, that can also be very, very healing. You can do that through prayer. You can do that through life coaching with someone that you trust. Life coaching with a spiritual leader that you trust, a rabbi or a pastor or a friend that you trust who has the time and the space and the ability to, bear your burdens, feel your emotions. Some people are not trained to do that. So that's why, for me, life coaching is very, very important. That's why I became a life coach. But it can be extremely empowering. So when you learn to be able to feel your feelings and go through them and process them, and then after that, become optimistic afterwards, that will help keep your hope and enthusiasm alive, and will help you keep going in life and in business, for your marriage, for your family, for your clients, for your students, whatever it is that you are trying to achieve in life. So with that, it is Friday, preparation day. So for me, we're going to get ready for Shabbat, have a lot of family and friends over. So I hope that this message was helpful for you and empowering. Shalom.